Welcome children. Today I am dealing with the topic circular motion. A particle is said to be in circular motion when it moves along the circumference of a circle. So if a particle is moving in a circular path, then that particle will be tracing which one? Tracing the circumference of a circle. So it is moving along the circumference of a circle such that distance of the particle from the center always remains constant. So suppose a body is moving in a circular path. So it means that this particle is moving along the circumference of the circle such that distance of the particle from the center always remains constant. Okay, and that distance can be called as which one? Radius. So this radius always remains constant. So a circular motion means it is the movement of a body along the circumference of a circle such that distance of the particle from the center always remains constant. That means R remains constant here. Radius remains constant. And in the case of circular motion, at each and every point the direction of the particle is changing. So it is changing continuously. So in the case of circular motion, direction of motion always changes. Direction of motion always changes. Always changes. That means at each and every point direction of motion is changing. Suppose I am taking another one figure like square. So this is square. So in this square we can see that the direction, suppose a particle is moving from here. So it is a starting point and this body is moving along straight line, and when it reaches to this point, suppose this point I am taking is A, B, C. So when this body reaches at point A, it may be changing direction. Okay, so this is first time it is changing direction. Okay, then again when this body reaches to point B, again it is changing direction. So it is a second time. Okay, then again when this body reaches C, again it is changing direction. That means it is a third time. Okay, and again when this body reaches O, again it is changing direction. So it is a fourth time. Okay, that means, so suppose a body is moving in a square path. So how many times it is changing directions? 4 times. So 4 times it is changing direction. Okay, suppose I am taking another one figure like this. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it is having how many sides? 7 sides are there. 3 and 4. 7 sides are there. That means, so when a body is moving along this path, so this particle is changing its direction 7 times. So we have taken 7 sides here. That means 7 times it is changing direction. Like that, if we are taking another one figure like this circle, so here at each and every point this particle is changing direction. That means at each and every point in the circular path, direction of particle is changing continuously. Okay, so it is called a circular motion. So circular motion means a body is moving in a circular path or along the circumference of a circle such that distance of the particle from the center always remains constant, and at each and every point of this movement of the particle, the direction of particle always changes. Okay, then the circular motion can be considered as a two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. Two-dimensional motion. That means the circular motion mainly requires 2 coordinates to represent its motion. So 2 coordinates are required to represent a particle moving in a circular path. So in order to represent a particle in circular motion, we need how many coordinates? 2 coordinates are needed. So first one is displacement. So in order to figure out which one? Linear displacement. So in order to figure out linear displacement, we need 1 coordinate. Linear displacement. And second one is angular wise also there is displacement. Okay, so second one means which one? Angular displacement. Angular displacement. So in order to represent a particle in circular motion, we need how many coordinates? 2 coordinates are needed. So one is for which one? Linear displacement. That means here, suppose the particle is somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here means, so this is the origin and this much distance can be called as which one? Linear displacement. Okay, so in order to represent linear displacement, we need which one? 1 coordinate. Another one for which one? Angular displacement. Suppose this is the initial condition. Okay, so how much angle wise it is displacing. That one we have to represent using which one? Angular displacement. So in order to represent a particle in circular motion, we need how many coordinates? 2 coordinates are needed. One for representing linear displacement, another one for which one? Angular displacement. Okay. And how will you represent this linear displacement? So it is a vector drawn from the origin to the position of the particle. Suppose the particle is here, somewhere here. This A is the point, okay, position of the particle. Then this vector drawn from the origin to this particle can be called as which one? Position vector. So this position vector will represent which one? The position of the particle. Position vector is drawn from where? From the origin to the position of the particle. Okay, that will represent which one? The linear displacement of the particle. And this angle represents which one? Angular displacement. So in order to represent the particle in circular motion, we need mainly how many coordinates? 2 coordinates are needed. One for representing which one? Linear displacement. Another one for which one? Angular displacement. And in the case of circular motion, at each and every point, direction of particle is changing. Next is angular displacement. Symbol is delta theta. So when a body is moving in a circular path, then the angle made by the radius vector, this is called as radius vector, vector, this is also radius vector only. So this angle made by the radius vector in a given interval of time, suppose this much time we are taking as delta t. Okay, so in a given interval of time, the angle made by the radius vector when the body is moving in a circular path is called as which one? Angular displacement. So it is the angle made by the radius vector in a given interval of time when a body is moving in a circular path. Okay, and the symbol is given as delta theta, and unit of angular displacement is taken as which one? Radians. So this radians is the unit of which one? Angular displacement. Symbol is RAD. Radians. Okay, so it is the angle made by the radius vector in a given interval of time when a body moves in a circular path. Then second one, angular velocity. So symbol we are giving as delta omega. Angular velocity is the rate of change of angular displacement. Rate of change of angular displacement. Change of angular displacement. So rate of change means divided by time. That means we can write delta omega, this angular velocity delta omega equals angular displacement divided by time. So rate of means with respect to time. Okay. So what may be the unit of this angular velocity? So we know that angular displacement, what is the unit? Radians. So divided by time means radians per second. So this unit is taken as radians per second. So unit is radians per second. So this angular velocity is defined as the rate of change of angular displacement, or we can say it is the ratio of angular displacement and time. Okay, so what is the unit here? Radians per second, because unit of angular displacement is radians per what is the unit of time? Second. So radians per second. So here consider the particle is at initially point P, and after a time t1 let the particle reaches the position A. Okay, so this angular displacement is taken as theta 1. This theta 1 is the angular displacement of the particle when this particle reaches at which point? At position A. Okay. Then after a time t2, that means when the time becomes t2, let the particle reaches at the position which one? B. Making angular displacement I am taking as theta 2. That means from the origin, what is the angular displacement here? Theta 2 when the particle reaches at the position which one? B. Okay. Therefore, angular velocity delta omega. Angular velocity is given as the ratio of which all things? Ratio of change in displacement. So what is the final displacement here? When this body reaches at point P, what is the displacement here? Theta 2. So theta 2 minus, what is the initial displacement here? Theta 1. Theta 1 divided by what is the time interval here? T2 minus T1. So T2 minus T1, that is equivalent to this theta 2 minus theta 1 we can write as this is a small change in angular displacement. So I am writing as delta theta divided by this delta T. So we go delta omega equals delta theta by delta T. So this is the formula for which one? Angular velocity. So it is the ratio of angular displacement and time interval, and unit we know what is the unit? Radians per second. So this is the unit of which one? Angular velocity. Now suppose if you are finding instantaneous angular velocity, instantaneous angular velocity, that means it is the angular velocity at a particular instant of time. So this is for which one? A time intervals. For a time interval, this angular velocity is given as which one? Delta omega equals delta theta by delta t. This is for a certain time interval. Suppose if you want to find angular velocity for a particular time, for a particular instant of time, then that is called as which one? Instantaneous angular velocity, and that is given by simply omega. This omega represents which one? The instantaneous angular velocity. That means angular velocity at a particular instant of time. Okay. Then how will you find this omega now? So we have take limit of this one. That is limit delta t tends to 0. That means when this time interval becomes very small and reaching to 0, that means it may be reaching to a particular time. Okay, at that time this delta theta by delta t will be equal to which one? This omega. This is the formula for which one? Instantaneous angular velocity. That means whenever this time interval reduces to 0, that means it is approaching to a particular time, then at that time this delta theta by delta t is equivalent to which one? This instantaneous angular velocity. Unit is same, only what is the unit? Radians per second. Angular acceleration. The rate of change of angular velocity is called as angular acceleration. Symbol is alpha. So it is the rate of change of angular velocity. So here angular acceleration alpha can be written as which one? Rate of change of angular velocity. That means it is the ratio of change in angular velocity. Change in angular velocity with time. Okay, change in angular velocity by time. And suppose we have at time t1, let omega 1 be the angular velocity of a particle, and at time t2 is after certain time, and when this time becomes t2, let omega 2 be the angular velocity of the corresponding particle moving in circular path. Okay, then how will you write this alpha? Angular acceleration, this alpha is given as the change in angular velocity. That means final velocity minus initial. That means omega 2 minus which one? Omega 1. Change in angular velocity divided by time interval. What is the time interval here? Final time minus initial time. That means t2 minus t1. So we can write this omega 2 minus omega 1 means we can write this delta omega divided by which one? Delta t. So this is the formula for which one? Angular acceleration. Symbol is alpha. Then what is the unit of alpha? Unit. So we know that unit of angular velocity. What is the unit of angular velocity? Radians per second. Radian per second. Then again we are dividing by time. That means we have to divide one more time with second. So you'll be getting radian per second square. This radian per second square is the unit of which one? Angular acceleration. So it is defined as the rate of change of angular velocity. That means delta omega divided by delta t. So what is the unit? Radian per second square. So now we already studied about. So first one, angular displacement we studied. Angular displacement. What is the symbol? Theta. Angular displacement theta. What is the unit? Radian. Okay. Then we studied about angular velocity. Angular velocity, symbol is omega, unit is radian per second. Radian per second. Then we studied about which one? Angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, symbol is alpha, unit is which one? Radian per second square. Radian per second square. And we know that all these three quantities are which one? Vector quantities. So all these quantities are vector quantities. Vector quantity means it has direction also. This magnitude as well as direction. So these are called as vector quantities. Okay. And what is the direction of all these three quantities? It is along the axis of rotation. So along the axis of rotation only, what is the direction? Direction of angular displacement, angular velocity as well as angular acceleration. Okay. Suppose we are drawing a particle moving in circular path. So we have a body moving in a circular path. So initially this is the origin. So this is the initial point. So initial position of the particle. Then after a time that the particle reaches at a point Q, and this is angular displacement theta. Okay. And suppose this much time interval we are taking as this delta theta. I am taking delta theta. And this time interval we are taking as delta t. Then how will you write this? Angular velocity delta omega equals delta theta by delta t. And what is the direction of this delta omega? It is along the axis of rotation. So this is along the axis of rotation only. What is the direction? Direction of angular velocity as well as angular acceleration. So along the direction, along the axis of rotation is the direction of which one? Angular velocity as well as angular acceleration. Time period, symbol t. So what is a time period? the time taken by a body in circular motion to complete one revolution. So in order to complete one revolution, how much time it is taken? It is called as which one? Time period. So it is a time taken by a body in circular motion to complete one revolution. And the symbol is T. And what is the unit of time period? A second. The second is the unit of which one? Time period. Then what is frequency? Frequency. The number of revolutions made by a body in circular path in 1 second is called as which one? Frequency. This frequency means it is the number of revolutions per second. Number of revolutions per second made by a body in circular path can be called as which one? Frequency. Then there is a relation connecting frequency and time period. What is the relation? Frequency F equals 1 by time period. Okay. So what is the unit of frequency? So unit of frequency is, can be taken as hertz. So hertz is the unit of which one? Frequency, or symbol we can write as which one? Hz. Okay. Or we have another one unit for frequency. From this formula, how will you write unit of frequency? So frequency means it is 1 by time period. So what is the unit of time period? A second. So 1 by second means it is second raised to minus 1. So we can write here as second raised to minus 1. Okay. So unit of frequency is hertz, or we can write which one? Second raised to minus 1. So this frequency means it is the number of revolutions per second made by a body in circular path. And what is time period? Time taken by a body to complete one revolution. Okay. Uniform circular motion. A body is said to be in uniform circular motion if its angular velocity remains constant throughout its motion. So throughout the circular motion, angular velocity remains constant. So angular velocity remains constant throughout the motion, throughout the circular motion, then it is called as which one? Uniform circular motion. That means there is no change in angular velocity. That means what is angular acceleration here? So we have the formula angular acceleration alpha equals change in angular velocity. That means delta omega, change in angular velocity by time. But here it is told that there is no change in angular velocity. That means delta omega will be how much here? 0. So 0 by time means what is the answer here? 0. So in the case of uniform circular motion, angular acceleration is 0. Angular acceleration is 0. Why it is 0? Because there is no change in angular velocity. Because angular velocity remains constant here. So in the case of uniform circular motion, angular velocity remains constant throughout the motion. Okay, that means delta omega equals 0 here. So what is alpha? Alpha means angular acceleration is how much here? 0. Okay. Now what is non-uniform circular motion? Non-uniform circular motion. So here in the case of non-uniform circular motion, this angular velocity does not remain constant. So here velocity is changing. Angular velocity is changing. Angular velocity changes during its motion and is not constant. So in the case of non-uniform circular motion, this angular velocity changes continuously and is not at all constant. So in that case, this alpha is not at all 0. So this alpha is having some value because there is a change in velocity. Okay, the velocity is changing in the case of which one? Non-uniform circular motion. There must be acceleration. So this acceleration is not at all 0 here. Centripetal acceleration and tangential acceleration. So whenever a body is moving in a circular path, if there is a change in angular velocity, there must be some acceleration. That is called as which one? Angular acceleration. Okay, symbol is alpha. So alpha equals delta omega by delta t. So if there is a change in angular velocity, there must be an angular acceleration. Okay, and similarly, whenever a body is moving in a circular path, so it may be having linear velocity also. So linear velocity, what is the symbol? Linear velocity symbol is V. So whenever a body is moving in a circular path, this particle will be having which velocity also? Linear velocity also. And this linear velocity is acting along the tangent at that point. It is acting along the tangent. Suppose the particle is somewhere here. So initially the particle is here. So what is the direction of linear velocity of this particle at this point? It is acting along the tangent. So I am drawing a tangent here. So along this tangent only, what is the direction? Direction of linear velocity. Okay. And suppose this particle reaches at somewhere here. Reaches here. And at this point also, what is the direction of linear velocity? It is along the tangent like this. Okay. Similarly, when this body reaches here, okay, what is the direction of linear velocity? It is also along the tangent. Like that, so each and every point of its motion, it may be having which velocity also? Linear velocity also. Okay. And what is the direction of linear velocity? It is along the tangent. Okay. And since this linear velocity is continuously changing, so at each and every point this linear velocity is continuously changing, there must be which one also? Acceleration also. So whenever there is a change in velocity, there must be acceleration. Okay. So since here this linear velocity is continuously changing at each and every point, there must be an acceleration here. And that acceleration can be called as which one? Centripetal acceleration. Centripetal acceleration. Acceleration, or we can say radial acceleration. Radial acceleration. So since this linear velocity is continuously changing. So since the linear velocity is continuously changing at each and every point, so there may be an acceleration here, and that is called as which one? Centripetal acceleration, or we can say which one? Radial acceleration. And this one is acting towards the center. Okay, so I am writing here AR. This AR represents which one? Radial acceleration, or we can say centripetal acceleration. Okay, so vector quantity, and it is acting towards which direction? Towards the center. So since the linear velocity is continuously changing, direction is continuously changing, we can say there must be an acceleration, and that is called as which one? Centripetal acceleration. Okay. But suppose if the magnitude of linear velocity is also changing. So now I told you, if the direction is changing, if the direction of linear velocity is continuously changing, there must be an acceleration, and that is called as which one? Centripetal acceleration. Okay. And suppose if the magnitude of linear velocity, if magnitude of linear velocity is also changes, then there will be another one acceleration, and that is called as which one? Tangential acceleration. Tangential acceleration. Tangential acceleration. And this one is acting along which direction? Along the tangent. Along tangent. So this tangential acceleration will be acting along which direction? Along the tangent. That means this direction. So this along the tangent. So it is acting along the tangent, and that is called as which one? Tangential acceleration. Okay. So in this case we studied about two accelerations. So one is acting towards the center, that is called as which one? Radial acceleration or centripetal acceleration. And other one is called as which one? Tangential acceleration. It is acting towards which one? Along the tangent. Okay. Now how will you find the resultant of these two accelerations? Suppose I am completing this one. So I will be getting a parallelogram like this. Okay. And this diagonal. So I am drawing a diagonal here. So this diagonal will give which one? The resultant of these two vectors. So this one I have taken as vector A. So this vector A is the resultant of these two accelerations. Okay. That means vector A equals, we can write as vector AR plus which one? Vector AT. So this vector A is the resultant acceleration. Okay, this AT represents which one? Tangential acceleration. It is acting along which direction? Along the tangent. And this AR means it is a radial acceleration, or we can say centripetal acceleration. Okay. Now suppose this vector A makes an angle theta with the tangential acceleration theta here. Okay. Now how will you find the magnitude of this A? So magnitude of vector A is given by root of this one AR square plus which one? AT square. So this is the magnitude of resultant acceleration. Okay, this AR represents which one? Centripetal acceleration, and this AT represents the tangential acceleration. And how will you find resultant acceleration? A equals root of AR square plus AT square. And this resultant acceleration makes an angle theta with which one? Is a tangential acceleration. And suppose from this figure we are finding tan theta. So tan theta equals, what is the opposite side here? AR, same like this one. Okay. So tan theta equals AR divided by which one? AT. AR by AT. So this is the formula for which one? Angle made by this resultant acceleration with which one? This tangential acceleration. That is tan theta equals AR by AT. And I told you here this tangential acceleration mainly depends on which factor? This one depends on radius. So whenever radius changes, which one will change? Tangential acceleration will change. AT will change. AT will change. But what about angular acceleration? Alpha. So this whenever radius changes, this alpha will not change. alpha will not change. That means angular acceleration will not change. But which one will change? Tangential acceleration will change with which one? When the radius is changing. So that is the difference between tangential and angular acceleration. So whenever radius of the circular motion is changing, which one will change? This tangential acceleration will change, but this angular acceleration will not change.